started because just a couple minutes over. So we're going to do our kind of Earth Day practice today. I'm going to go through the 5 elements. You guys have heard me talk about that before, how the 5 elements are in nature, but also within us. And today I'm going to relate it a little bit to our immunity and how the natural world helps reinforce our immune system. So I'm going to give you guys a choice. You can either start on your belly or on your back, either way. But then we're all going to come to our bellies eventually, just so you know that's the direction we're heading. But some people don't like to be on the belly as long, but I want you to be on the earth. So your choice, you can come down, blanket would be nice. Perhaps we'll be there for a little bit, but not necessary. I'm going to go ahead and mute. All right. All right, so go ahead and either come on your belly and stack up your arms and rest your head on your arms, or you could be on your back, face up. And we're going to take a little time just to settle into the sensation of connecting to the ground. And start to come into your breathing. And start to feel the weight of the body as it drops into the ground. So right now we're just very close to that sensation of being on the earth. And so when it comes to our immune system, earth is one of the most important of the elements, because if we're not grounded, our nervous system isn't grounded, our immune system tends to be more reactive, meaning it's going to sense that everything is dangerous. So when we have an overactive immune system, things like allergies, right? That's an overactive immune system. And autoimmune disorders. So our immune system's like kind of jacked up, and that's all as a result of what's going on in our nervous system. The other thing that the earth does for us is provides nourishment. It provides all the minerals that we need, and we've all been kind of hearing about these things right now. So we need to get our zinc. Also, things like magnesium, I've been hearing talk about. So when we're deficient in those minerals that come from the earth, maybe our immune system doesn't have all the resources it needs. Also, we can think about things like salt, mineral salt, not like the salt that we buy at the store that's all iodized, but like the rich sea salts and things like that can be really good for our bodies. And then, of course, we have water element. So water element relates to, of course, our moisture content in our bodies. Water is very cleansing. We're using that to wash our hands a lot, but it also keeps our tissues hydrated and nourished. So the drier we are in our tissues, the more susceptible we might be to illness. So we hear about this, keeping our nasal passages lubricated and not all dried out. From the water, we're also getting the content of the sea vegetables and the minerals of the sea, things like iodine. And then we have fire. Fire is very cleansing as well. Our fire is what gives us our fever to fight off illness. It helps things clear out. And also we can think about the power of the sun. It's another thing we're hearing about right now. Get out in the sun, get your vitamin D. And studies are showing, one of the books I'm reading is called The Brain's Way of Healing. Studies are showing that light actually penetrates through our skin and really relates to whether or not we get a good night's sleep. So the light comes in through our eyes and helps us create our melatonin. And then we have the air that we're breathing. We need fresh air. So breathing deep into your lungs is also cleansing and renewing. And finally, space, wide open spaces, gives us a nice respite from looking at our screens, calms the mind, calms the nervous system, So being out in nature is super important to maintaining our health. So if you are on your back, go ahead and turn over onto your belly. So we're all on the belly. And then from here, we're going to prop up a little bit, coming to like a Sphinx pose, but we're going to hold on to opposite elbows. That's it. So we're still nice and close to the ground here. So we're still in our earth element. Root down through the arms, lift through the chest, pull the belly forward, and just come into this kind of cobra variation. Let's hold here for 2 more full breaths. See if you can send that breath into the low back and the low belly. All right, so from here, just go ahead and watch for a moment. I'm going to take my left arm and thread it underneath my right arm, and then bring my head down. And if your head doesn't reach the floor, I'm going to encourage you to just use a blanket or a pillow underneath. So it's almost like a little baby thread the needle. Take your left arm underneath your right arm. And then let's take the right leg out to the side. Bend your knee. Good. Okay, take your left palm on top of your right forearm and press down into your forearm and start to traction your forearm away from you to the right, which will help you roll open a little bit towards your left. And then keep pressing that forearm away from you, turn open, maybe look up at the ceiling. And really reach through your right arm as you use your left arm to traction. And you'll roll open so that your hip is lifting off the ground, the right hip. Let's see if you can feel and sense that stretch in the back of your shoulder. Hold here 1 more breath. And then we're going to release and slowly slide it back. And then let's do that on the other side. So when you're ready, you're going to thread your right arm through. I'm just going to come on to the other side so I'm not facing away from you. Thread your right arm through. And then head comes to the pillow, bring that knee out to the side. And then you're going to use your top hand to traction your bottom arm. So left arm on top of your right forearm. Start to press down and then traction it. And as you push through that left hand, try to reach through your right arm and turn open into the twist. So it's a mild, gentle twist close to the ground here. Keep reaching through that bottom arm, pressing through the top arm. Maybe the head starts to look up. Send your breath between your shoulder blades. And then slowly release, slide that knee back and go ahead and come all the way around back into that cobra position. Grab opposite elbows. Press down through the elbows and pull the belly forward. This time, tuck your toes under. Lift your kneecaps off the ground, engage your legs. And then you're tractioning through your lower belly, reaching your chest forward. 1 more breath. And then go ahead and slowly release. Slide your hands back under your shoulders and press up and back into a child's pose. And see if you can stretch your arms forward. If the arms forward don't feel good in your shoulders, stack up your hands, put your hands under your forehead, or drape your arms back behind you. Have another breath here. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and come up into a seated position for a moment. And then feel free to sit up on a pillow, a blanket, a prop, whatever you've got. All right, so rooting down into those sit bones, lifting through the crown of the head. And then let's take the arms out to the sides and overhead. Bring the palms together if you can, and then just draw the hands down through the center. And we're going to do that a few more times. Inhale, the arms out to the sides and overhead. And exhale, draw towards your heart center. Good. One more time. Inhale, reach. Exhale, draw the hands to the heart. And this time we're going to take the hands to the floor. Walk your hands out any amount, coming into a forward fold. And then let your head drop a little bit. Keep your sit bones down on the ground. And then have a gentle sway side to side. Just going nice and slowly. So earth and water are the two heaviest of the 5 elements. So they're a little more grounding for us. The water is what gives us our fluidity in our body. So this ability to sway side to side is a water element attribute. Then go ahead and slowly peel back up. Switch your legs so the opposite leg is in the front. Balance out your sit bones. Good. Inhale, reach your arms out and up. Let's go through that cycle again, drawing your hands down towards your heart. Good. And then do a couple more. And this is a grounding breath as we kind of draw energy down through center. One more time. And then go ahead and place those hands on the ground in front of you. Walk them out any amount. And if this is challenging for your hips, you're going to stay a little higher up and maybe a little sway side to side. And then slowly walk it back up. You can stay with your legs crossed this way, or if you're more comfortable the first way, you can switch it back. Sitting up nice and tall again, let the sit bones root down. Last week we talked about roots. So feel those sit bones root into the earth. And now we're going to let the spine be very fluid by drawing circles with your torso. So we imagine the spine in its little channel in our bodies. That's a very fluid channel. So the spine is housed in the spinal cord, and there's cerebral spinal fluid in there. So we want to keep the spine really mobile, really fluid. Let's go the other way. So kind of let your spine be really swaying, like you're a flower stem swaying in the wind, or an underwater plant swaying in the water. Good. And then we'll come back through the center and just give the shoulders a couple rolls out. So anytime we're moving our bodies, particularly a yoga practice, it brings fluidity into our tissues. Go the other way. If we're not moving our tissues, they start to get dry and what we call crystalline. So the fascia starts to get a little crystalline instead of nice and fluid, and not in a good crystal way. I love crystals, but not in this case. So we want to keep everything really mobile. All right, let's go ahead and come into all fours for our cat-cows. Again, that's creating nice fluid movement through our spine. So you can just go ahead and begin when you're ready. I always like to start on an exhale, rounding through the spine, pushing through the hands. And then come into the inhalation phase, arching the back. And exhale, round. Being aware of the parts of the body touching the ground, your hands, your shins, your feet. Being aware of muscles supporting you. That's also earth element, anything solid in our bodies, as opposed to the liquid. Go here. After your next exhalation, let's go ahead and rise up on our knees. Reach the arms overhead. Give those arms a little break. Interlace your palms, press the palms up, pull the tailbone down, and lengthen all the way up through your spine. Pressing those palms up. And then we're going to release and come back down into our tabletop pose. Take your right leg straight back behind you. And with your toes on the floor, just kind of see if you can firm your leg. Make your leg solid and strong. Tone your belly. These are all earth element things to do, creating that stability. Then we're going to lift that leg. So try to keep feeling like you're engaging the leg muscles. You're engaging and hugging muscle to bone, making that leg more solid. And then if you want, take your opposite arm, reach it forward. Be into balancing tabletop, and then make that arm nice and solid. Your belly still toning. Your palm that's on the floor pushes into the earth and do a little squeegee outward. Just having that little turn without turning it. And then release. And let's try the other side. So go ahead, take the left leg back. Make that leg solid, firm up that leg. And then when you're ready, lift it. Keep that feeling of solidity. Feel the opposite arms and legs on the ground, tone the belly. And when you're ready, that opposite arm can reach forward. Make that arm solid. Hold it here. Feel like you're firming your muscles. Little squeegee of that supporting hand. So you're turning it slightly toward your pinky finger without moving it. And then release. Inhale, come up on your knees again, reach through your arms. If you're having any trouble being on your knees, you could also take a down dog instead. Interlace your palms, press up. Pull the tailbone down, lift your rib cage. This time, make a few circles with your upper body. So getting that water element back in. And then go the other way, reverse. Water element helps us learn to go with the flow and not feel so stuck. And then release, bring those hands back down again one more time. This time we're going to bring in a little fire. So fire is more dynamic, builds heat. So we're going to do the same movement, right leg, left arm, make them solid, and then bring it down, opposite side. And now we're going to repeat to your capacity. So you want to make sure you're still stable. So feel that earth element and alternate side to side. Keep breathing. If you get tired, you can always come back to a child's pose. See if you can stay with it, building that warmth. One more on each side. And then when you finish, go ahead and take that child's pose. Move it back. Go ahead and take one more breath cycle here. And then when you're ready, we're going to take any blankets off our mat, if you've got those, so we can move into our standing work. Keep a blanket nearby as we are going to do some lunges. You might want to pull those in. If you've got blocks, you might want those at the top of your mat. And then we're going to just come into a down dog when you're ready. So take the hands slightly forward of your shoulders. Press through your finger pads, feel the ground, and then lift the hips up and back. And if you like, you could just pedal out your feet for a moment. And then everyone pause, bend your knees a little bit, walk your hands towards your feet. So you're in that forward fold at the back of your mat. Make sure the knees are a little bent. And then inhale, hands up on your thighs, come into the halfway lift. And today we're gonna make it a little more water elements. We're gonna roll through the spine. So with the knees bent, you're gonna roll downward, hands on your thighs or like your knees, and then round your back. Inhale, come up till you feel like your spine's more neutral. And again, round your spine coming down. And then round your spine coming up. And try that 2 more times. Be really fluid through your spine. Like you're trying to make a wave pattern. On your next round, let's go ahead and come all the way up and reach your arms overhead. Good. Widen out your feet a little bit. Make sure the knees are nice and soft. And then we're going to circle the torso down to the ground and up. So circle, nice bend in the knees and rise up. So again, just feeling this nice fluid movement. Water helps our joints as well. Let's go the other way. We have fluid in the joints. They can get dry and cracked too. So the more we keep movement going, the healthier our joints can be. And we want to make sure we're not like always jamming our joints. And then we'll come all the way up, step the feet back into about hips distance. And as you exhale, fold over your legs, bring that little bend in the joints. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold forward. And inhale, rise all the way up. Just a couple of half sun salutations. Release the arms, bringing in a nice fluid quality to it. Inhale, reach. And exhale, fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, release arms down. So sun salutations, one of the purposes of it was to honor the sun. So we can think about that as we do the next round. Inhale, reach up toward the sky, toward air and space and light. And then exhale, we fold toward earth, water as well toward the ground. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. And then inhale, rise up last time. And then release. Arms down at your side. Good. Okay, adding on, make sure you have those blocks if you want them, top of the mat. So we're going to move a little bit more with water for a bit. And in the yoga tradition, the water element is in our pelvic bowl that kind of contains the water of our body. The pelvic floor holds that fluid in, and there's a sac around our organs holding all that fluid in. We're going to inhale, reach those arms up, and exhale, fold. Bring your hands onto your blocks. Now, as you inhale, let's go ahead, step your left foot to the back of your mat. Move your blocks back toward your right foot, and then drop that left knee down. You're welcome to grab padding for that back knee. Toes can be tucked or untucked, your choice. Now we're going to bring both blocks inside the right foot. Walk your right foot over to the right. And then take your back knee and widen it a little bit. So we're creating space in our hips. Now, if you want, you can lower your blocks. If you have the arms that are long enough, you could ditch the blocks, put your hands right on the ground. And then from here, we're going to make circles with our hips. Just kind of move those hips around as best you can. And see if you can get a sense of finding fluidity into your hip joints. And then let's reverse the circle, go the other way. Maybe noticing those creaks and cracks that come up. And then pause into the lunge. You can let your hips drop a little bit. If you want to go a little further here, we can roll the front knee open and come onto the pinky toe side of your foot and lift the big toe side of the foot up. It just gets a little more into the inner thigh area. If that bothers your knee, then keep your foot flat. And now let's hold here another breath. All right, and then we're gonna slowly walk it back in, coming into tabletop pose. Set your blocks off to the side, top of the mat. We're gonna lift up into a downward facing dog. And then we're gonna roll forward onto our toes, coming into a plank pose, and just drop your knees down. Lower all the way down to the ground. Back to the earth. Inhale, cobra pose, and just kind of rock your hips a little side to side. Again, getting that nice fluid sensation in the body. And then lower to the ground, press back, tabletop, downward facing dog. And then we're gonna walk our feet forward, top of the mat, and fold over your legs. Next inhale, let's come all the way up. Reach your arms up, reach for the sky. And then fold forward, bring your hands to your blocks. We'll do the next side. So now step your right foot to the back of your mat, move your blocks back in line with your foot, and then drop onto your back knee. We're gonna bring both blocks inside the left foot, walk the left foot to the left, to the right, make space. Again, you could lower your blocks, you can lose your blocks, whatever feels best in your body. And then when you're ready, hip circles. And just noticing sensations, noticing, how fluid you can be here, and then circle the other way. And then go ahead and come to a pause. You can stay right there or let that front knee drop open, coming onto the pinky edge of the foot. If it bothers your knee, keep the foot flat. Sometimes if I press into the pinky edge, that helps take the knee strain out, but see if it works for you. One more breath here. And then we're gonna slowly start to step it back into your tabletop pose. Set your blocks to the side, and we come into downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, roll forward onto your tippy toes, and then pause in your plank. You can drop those knees, chest forward, and then slowly lower all the way down to your belly. Inhale, cobra, and just move around a little bit. Roll your hips from side to side, roll your shoulders from side to side. If any of this is too much, then just repeat a cobra a few times. And then release, press to all fours, and downward facing dog. All right, from here, look forward. See if you can walk feet to meet your hands. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, roll the spine down and fold forward. Now we're gonna stay in the forward fold, widen your feet a little bit. Hold on to opposite elbows. Keep that bend in your knees so your joints are fluid. And then you're gonna sway your upper body side to side as if you're gonna make a figure 8 with your elbows. Switch the arms, opposite arm on the bottom. Continue to flow. Coming back through center, let the spine and head go. Nice deep bend in your knees and start to push into your feet. And we're gonna roll up one vertebra at a time. If this doesn't feel good for you, you could press up, but see if you can keep your head heavy. And you're gonna slowly come up till your head stacks on top of your spine. And then roll your shoulders back. All right, let's get into a little fire now. We did a lot of earth, a lot of water. We're gonna bend our knees, come into chair pose. And you could start with your hands right on your thighs. So our thighs burn when we use them. They're one of those bigger muscles in the body. Put your weight back into your heels and spread out through your toes. Tone your belly muscles. And then if it's not too fiery for you, reach your arms up by your ears. We're gonna hold here, press down into your feet. Maybe pull your feet apart isometrically a little bit, get those outer legs firing up. And if it's not too fiery for you, lower down a little bit more. If the low back bothers you, give it more support from your lower belly. And we're gonna rise up and release those arms. Hold for a breath. We're gonna keep going with a little fire. All right, inhale, reach your arms up and see if you can bring your palms together. And then we're gonna bend the knees, come into chair, hands at your heart, lower as far as you like, weight in your heels. And then inhale, reach up. Exhale, back down. See if each time you come down, you might go a little lower if that feels right for you today. Try a couple more with a nice strong breath. So bringing in air element. Big inhale. Exhale strongly. 2 more. Air, of course, increases fire. 1 more. And this time, inhale up, reach your arms wide. Stretch them to the sides and then release, arms down. Take a couple breaths. Notice that heart rate got up a little bit. Notice if you got a little warmer. We're gonna start one more round. And this time you can either repeat what we just did, or you're gonna take it to prayer twist, come up, prayer twist, come up. So your choice, either way. So let's start in mountain pose. Feet are either about hips distance or closer together. If you can manage them closer together and not feel unstable, we can keep them closer for chair. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, bend your knees, hands to the heart or twist. Over to your right. Inhale up through center. Exhale, twist to the left. And now on your own, adding in that strong breath. Remember, you can stay going through the center if that's better on your body. A couple more. The pace that you take is up to you. You can go a little faster if you feel stable. If you feel a little shaky, then go slower. If we're shaky, we want to stick with more earth. Inhale, arms up, and exhale, release. Take a pause again, observe the sensations in your body. All right, let's step the feet apart. We're going to do our Agnisara practice. Agnisara relates to fire element in our body. It's very cleansing for our digestive organs and said to help boost our metabolism. So we're going to bend our knees, place our hands on our thighs. And we're going to start out almost like a cat-cow here in this position. So inhale, arch your back a little bit, tip your sit bones back. Now as you exhale, round like a cat pose. Pull your tailbone in towards your head, let your head come towards your tailbone and pull your organs back, pull your belly back. And now continue, inhale, arch. Exhale, round. And now really squeeze your abdominal muscles, pull them back towards your spine. Do a few more. Nice inhale on the arch, exhale, round. And you want to think about everything compressing in towards your center. Even lift the big floor. Go ahead and do 2 more cycles on your own. How much compression can you get there? Last one. And then we're going to go ahead and release. Come up to stand. Put your hands on your solar plexus and right below, and have a few breaths. And just noticing the effect of that fire practice. So said, if we're feeling a little dull, a little stagnant, a little heavy, doing that practice on a regular basis can help us feel lighter. All right, let's continue with fire for just a little bit longer. Coming back to face the top of your mat. If you're not there, have your blocks. We're going to do 1 more set of lunges with a twist. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Hands to blocks. Inhale, lengthen. Step your left foot to the back of your mat. Walk your blocks back. Drop onto that back knee. Toes can be tucked or untucked, your choice. Bring your blocks inside the front foot and walk your right foot to the right. Again, you could lower your blocks if you wish, or come to the floor. Good, let's take another round of circles. So we stay a little into the water element so we don't get too fiery. And then let's reverse it, go the other way. Notice if there's any differences from when you first tried to circle your hips. Okay, from here, come back to pause. Bring your right hand up onto your right thigh. Press your palm into your thigh and your thigh into your palm. You can go a little inside the thigh. Make sure your bottom hand and shoulder are kind of moving back, not popping forward. And then turn open into the twist here. We turn to the right. Now, if you want to go a little further, tuck your back toes under and see if you can lift that knee off the ground. That's going to make it a little more fiery. So if that's too much, just keep it down. Okay. Kind of squeeze your hips, tone your belly, push through your bottom arm. If you want to be even more fiery, take that arm and reach it up. And maybe wrap it around your back. So get a little more twist. Build a little more heat. Push through your front foot. All right, slowly reach that arm back up, hand down. And then we're gonna walk the foot back to center. Staying here if you can. Knee is down again. And then bring your hands up onto your front thigh. Lift your belly, lengthen your tailbone. Keep your right hand on your thigh, reach your left arm up. Inhale, reach up as high as you can. And as you exhale, you're going to come into a twist again. Either put your forearm on your thigh or hook your elbow and come into prayer twist. So your choice, you can keep one hand on your thigh, one hand on your hip, or palms together, prayer twist. And then we press the palms and turn and rotate the rib cage toward your right side. Press into your front foot. If you want to get even more fiery, tuck your toes, lift your back knee. Totally up to you. Keep it more gentle with that knee down, more stable, more earth if you like. All right, let's release hands down to your blocks. If your knee is down, lift it. And then we're going to take a big step forward, top of the mat, and fold over your legs. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, arms down. One more side to do in fire, and then we'll move on from fire. Inhale, the arms up. Exhale, fold forward, hands to blocks. You can start up high if you like, and then we'll step the right foot to the back. Move your blocks back and drop onto that knee. Toes are tucked or untucked. Blocks come inside the front foot. Lower your blocks if you like. 3 hip circles in each direction. And then reverse if you haven't. All right, from here, we twist open to the left. So right hand stays on the floor or block, left hand on the inner thigh, and then press your hand and thigh into each other and start to turn open into the twist. Again, you can stay here or lift that back knee off the ground. And stay there or reach the arm up. Maybe take it behind your back. And make sure supporting arm shoulder is not popping forward. Reach the arm back up when you're ready. Hand comes back down to the ground or the block. Back knee sets down. Walk your front foot to center. Frame your front foot with your blocks. And then when you're ready, we're going to come up onto the thigh. Good. Lift the belly, lengthen the tailbone. And then keeping your left hand on your thigh, reach your right arm up. Inhale like you're going to touch the sky, and then exhale either forearm or hook and come into prayer twist. Good. So stay there, pressing your palms together, root into your front foot. Some of you might lift that back knee off the ground if you're stable. If you're not stable, we're closer to the earth. Turn your rib cage toward your front leg and lengthen through your spine. Good. All right, guys, go ahead and release. We're getting out of fire. Hands come back down. Bring your blocks back up. We'll lift that back knee if it's down on the ground, and we're going to step forward and fold over your legs. Inhale, reach those arms all the way out and up. And exhale, release, arms down at your side. Okay, moving out of fire, we're going to a little bit more toward air, which is up in our chest and our lungs. We're going to do a little back bend. Those are really good for air element. And we're going to do kind of a standing camel pose. So I'm going to bring your hands on that lower back like we did last week. And we're going to make sure we're lifting the front of the belly up and pulling the tailbone down. Hug the elbows towards each other. Really root your legs into the ground. So feel your feet root down, engage your leg muscles. And then as you inhale, we're going to start to lift the heart up toward the sky. Keep your collarbones broad, shoulders broad, open across the chest. And you come to your ability here. You don't have to go too far, whatever feels good. And the more you strengthen the legs, the more you might be able to come into a back bend. So we need the support of the earth in order to reach into the space, into the air. And let's slowly release, starting to come up. Release those hands and shake them out. Okay, inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold over your legs. We're going to inhale halfway. Step back to down dog. And then bring knees down and we'll take a child's pose and return to earth. So go ahead, take about 5 cycles of breath there, letting everything release. Let's take one more breath where you are. And then when you're ready, go ahead and we'll come on up into a seated position. Find your support again, whatever you want to sit on. Widen out your sit bones and get nice and tall through your spine. Give me 1 second. I just want to change the music here. We're going to a little more calm. I know you guys can't hear, but you're always welcome to play the playlist on your own if you want. Okay. So sitting up nice and tall, I'm going to get a little bit more into space. So in the yoga tradition, space is associated with the crown of the head and our connection to something bigger than ourselves. So it's a kind of a spiritual component to it. So we're going to start by bringing the fingers together in front of your third eye, right in the center of your brow. And we're going to imagine we're like opening a blind or a curtain. So press your fingers into the forehead and then pull apart and kind of sweep off your brow. We did this a few weeks ago when we did our intuition class. So go ahead and do that a few times. Like we're trying to open up a blind to let light in. So these upper areas are associated with our glands of our pituitary, hypothalamus, and of course that light coming in associated with our melatonin production. Now let's do it on the crown of the head. Press into the top of the head and pull apart. So these are just called crown pulls. We're imagining opening up to allow light to come in. And also to help us connecting to space. Let's do that up and down the scalp a few times. I always feel this is good when I've got a headache. I feel like I'm releasing pressure in my head. All right, then go ahead and release that. Bring your hands down and just have an awareness here to the crown of your head. Close the eyes if that feels okay for you. And take a few breaths. We're going to finish with a mudra practice. We said that our fingers also represent the 5 elements. So we're going to go through each one and press on the fingers. Also, there's a lot of brain maps associated with our fingers. So we're going to first touch our thumb to our ring finger. And just let your hands rest down, either palms down or up, your choice. Press your thumb and your ring finger together and take a few breaths. So this is the element of earth when we do this particular position. Let's focus on any sensations, subtlety of sensations. Continue to feel that openness to the crown of your head. Now we're going to touch thumb to little finger, that's water element. Press the thumb and the little finger together. When we use these mudras, it's said to help increase the qualities of that particular element in our bodies. Now the next one is actually a decrease. We're going to take the base of the ring finger down and then put the thumb on top of it. So the base of the ring, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Place your thumb on the base of your ring finger. That's it. And then bring that down and just pause. So press your thumb right into the base. If you want, you could curl that finger in, but you don't have to. So this one is said to decrease fire. So a lot of us already have too much fire. When we do a fire practice, we get all warm. So for most of us, to decrease fire, which is also things like inflammation, anger, frustration, bringing it down. Breathing into the belly. Now we're going to go thumb to the tip of the middle finger, and that's air, or air. The next one's ether. Sorry about that. So just holding the tip of the middle finger Couple of breaths. And then switch to the tip of the index finger. So now ether, space. And as you hold here, think about spaciousness through the crown of the head, through the mind. It's like a little meditation here. I said that you can do this a couple times a day if you're ever interested, just to help balance things out in our bodies and minds. And then we're going to just open and close the palms a few times. Open and close. That's it. All right, and then just pause with those palms open. Take a few more breaths. When you feel ready, go ahead and transition onto your back. And if you want to have something under your head or knees, you can have that now. And go ahead, hug your knees into your chest. Rock a little bit side to side. Back down to the ground, toward the earth. So always ground ourselves after our practice. If you want to take this to happy baby, you're welcome to. If you like just a knee hug, you can stay with that. And either staying still or rocking it out a bit. And then go ahead and release into your Shavasana. So adding in any props that you like, cover up if you're cold. Make sure your body feels well supported. Bye, Tracy. Have a good day. And then as you get settled into stillness, feel yourself drift into the ground again, into the earth. Feel the support. And if you can, have a sense of the back of your skull and the back of your sacrum as they rest into the ground. These two areas relate to our parasympathetic nervous system. So it's one of the things my teacher is talking a lot about. So our parasympathetic nerves are coming through our cranium and our sacrum, which is why there are therapies called cranial sacral therapy. So imagine those two places kind of being held by the earth. Or maybe even imagining a loved one's hands, one under the small of your back at the sacrum and one under the back of your skull. Let it be like really nurturing. And let yourself release into that support. And then letting go of the visualization and simply be here in your Shavasana. We feel the ground beneath us. We feel the fluid nature of the body rest toward the ground. We let that fire be calm. We breathe in the air. And we start to allow ourselves to feel like we are wide open space. wide open space in the body and in the mind. And in this way, we connect to something bigger than ourselves. We connect to the greater whole. Maybe the greater whole of the planet, as we talk about Earth Day, and maybe even the greater whole of the universe. How expansive can you be? Go ahead, take another minute or two here to rest. All right, so taking your time, coming back to awareness now. Allowing a slightly deeper breath. Starting to move through fingers and toes. You can stretch it out if you like, and eventually you can come over onto your side for a brief pause. After a pause on your side, go ahead and return into your seated posture. Sit up nice and tall, let the shoulders draw back. And as you root into your sit bones, let the crown of the head rise up. And eyes can either be closed or softly focused for a few more breaths. So I'll share a final poem with you guys. This is called At World's End. If I could weave a giant web of my heart that's broken in pieces, I would spin a tapestry to toss over the remaining species. Big enough and wide enough and tough enough to deflect the heartless, mindless march of death, perpetuated by my own kind. If I could click and share a million warnings from this machine, it would be but a ripple in the web, largely gone unseen. If I could plant a million trees, would my grandchildren still eat? If I can weave this web with you, we may not face defeat. Let's go ahead, bring the hands together in front of the heart space. And take a nice inhalation, letting the heart lift. And as you exhale, bow your head down to your heart. And thank you so much, everyone. Namaste. Thank you, guys. I hope you feel good. Feel free to unmute. Reminder that Somatic is Sunday. I know some of you are already signed up. Thank you. If you're interested in that, it's at 2 o'clock on Sunday through West End. And then I will see you guys next week. 2 more weeks on Zoom. Hopefully we'll have some good weather first week of May.
I will see you in 2 weeks. I'm going away, so.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Where are you going, Chris?
Going to South Carolina, to Hilton Head.
Nice. Oh, enjoy.
Thank you. So I will
all
see
right.
you outside, hopefully.
Sounds good. Hopefully we have a good sunny day.
Yeah. Not too cool.
Yeah. All right, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.